With a star being talked about to dethrone Cody Rhodes and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Following the announcement of the WWE ID program, many stars have been signed as the company posted this video to X.
Get up, Darby. Hey, go. What's up? Come here. Man, your hard work and impressive skills, they paid off.
What's that?
There's a WWE ID contract there. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Bro.
Wow, this is awesome. Do you mind if I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
Whoa. Tandon jacked, ready to attack. The real-life action figure, Big Daddy Red, has been ID'd. And I've been ready for the big screen for a very long time. 3 times men's physique champion, an absolute stud. Look at those peaks. Look at those striations. This is what a top-tier athlete looks like. So WWE ID, listen to me now and believe me later, when you're in mint condition, there is no competition, dummies.
Speaking about his WWE Hall of Fame speech from 2021, Rob Van Dam noted on the Wrestling Life podcast, "I was honored. The fact that it was during COVID and we didn't have a crowd was kind of disappointing after going to the Hall of Fame for so many years and watching the really long speeches, super long, and then they told us to go 3 to 5 minutes on our speeches. After hearing these guys going on and on after the Hillbilly Jim 45-minute speech, right? Yeah, so it kind of felt like when I was in high school, like all the grades sell M&Ms to pay for the senior trip, and then when you're finally a senior, you know, then you capitalize on it. But by the time we made it, they stopped taking the boat to the Bahamas, and instead we got screwed because we just went to like this local amusement park. I think it was Cedar Point we went to. Damn, you know, that happens to me sometimes. But the thing about the time and there not being people there, if you've seen my speech, then you've seen like 9 minutes of it, but the whole thing was actually 27 minutes. So I actually went, in theory, like maybe 24 minutes over the 3-minute request. You know, I didn't hear anything when I got back except that was a little long, wasn't it? But I had no idea till I saw the whole thing that it was that long, because it's your moment. It's your moment in the spotlight. Yeah, and you know, you're playing off of somebody turning the volume up and down. Going over the deals that he was offered by AEW, WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle told Inside the Ropes, "AEW did offer me a couple of times. Tony Khan absolutely adores me from what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but they did offer me 2 different deals, and unfortunately they both had to do with wrestling, and I knew I couldn't do it." Recalling his first interaction with Sting, Darby Allin said this on a meal and a match. "You know, it was weird. Way before I was told I was going to be with him, they said, 'Alright, you're just gonna sit in the rafters during the pandemic.' I didn't put 2 and 2 together because, you know, I think Sting's career is over. He's not doing anything in wrestling, you know? All of a sudden, you know, why you're sitting in the rafters, right?" I'm like, "No, just because it looks spooky." Then they're all like, "Sting's coming. We want you to be with him. It was so intimidating to first walk up to him, but then instantly he's just like, dude, I love everything about you. I love your aesthetic. I love your cinematic promos. Sting's support came with one vital piece of advice: don't change a thing. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. It's such validation, but he's so giving, and the fact that he trusted me with his last run is pretty wild. With AEW star The Blade undergoing back fusion surgery in September, Ali said this to RDP Promotions: he's hanging in, he just started his PT. His back surgery went really well. I'm really proud of him. He's doing a ton of stand-up comedy right now, and he's really just focused on getting healthy. Ali also said this about making a return to AEW: I always tell people that when they ask me if I'm ever gonna wrestle again, I say never say never. Touching on his relationship with The Undertaker, Damian Priest told Conversations with the Wrestling Classic, if he's there at an event, I'll sit down next to him or stand next to him and just, like, you have anything for me? Then he'll give it to me. And he'll give it to me straight. There's not one piece more important than the other. I think the main thing, my favorite thing about every piece of advice that he gives me is that he's straight with me, even if it's something that you don't necessarily want to hear, but he's not going to sugarcoat anything, and I appreciate that. But that's the only way I'm actually going to get better or just achieve something else. I don't need pats on the back. I don't need good jobs. I need, okay, it's fine, but if you would have did this way, or think about it like this, or be careful about this. The most important piece of advice is basically be yourself, turn up the volume. Like, we've all heard different people say that in some way in different interviews, but hearing that from him firsthand, just simplifying things of who I am and how to present myself and what not to do. You don't have to beg the crowd for acceptance. Just be you and they'll either follow or they won't, but don't beg for it. Just a lot of different things that he's just so good at articulating. I'm very appreciative that I have The Undertaker giving me advice and explaining to me how I should carry myself and how to be a WWE superstar, leader, and all of it. He's been good to me in that sense. I'm forever grateful. Praising his son, Solo Sikoa, and his run in WWE thus far, Rikishi noted on his Off the Top podcast, like I mentioned on the last podcast we had, Solo's a made man, Rikishi said, emphasizing that this win solidifies his son's path to becoming one of WWE's top stars. He added, for that to happen, we see plans within this kid of what can be the next level for him. We talked about, does he need a belt? Well, after this pin on Roman, I can see maybe Solo being the one to take it off of Cody. I talked about maybe Roman will come back and take it off of Cody, but after seeing that, you beat the GOAT. I believe it was 2 or 3 spikes, but now it's like, okay, you beat the GOAT. Now you're considered the GOAT Slayer, so who knows? As a new title was announced on SmackDown, details regarding this were provided by Ringside News, who wrote, the WWE Universe got a major surprise during the November 8th episode of SmackDown when General Manager Nick Aldis announced the launch of the new WWE Women's United States Championship. The reveal sent waves of excitement through the fan base, signifying a significant moment for the women's division. However, behind the scenes, things were not as seamless as they appeared. According to reports, the female talent on the roster was just as stunned as the fans to learn about the new title. Sean Ross Sapp took to Twitter to drop some insight into the behind-the-scenes chaos. He revealed that WWE's women's division had no idea the new championship announcement was coming until the day it aired. The women on WWE's roster didn't know the WWE United States title announcement was coming until the day of, and aren't sure how the first champion will be determined, Sapp tweeted. Adding more context, Sapp shared details details in an update on Fightful Select, pointing out that the female talent thought the new championship would be introduced later, potentially in December or January. Women's talent that we spoke to did not know about the United States title announcement until the day of, Sapp reported. As of now, talent doesn't know if a matching title will be announced for WWE Raw or if they'll be doing a tournament to determine the champion. We're told they kept the details quiet, but talent previously thought it would maybe be debuted in December or January with Survivor Series so close. Despite the confusion, the introduction of the WWE Women's United States Championship is a significant step for the division, showcasing WWE's ongoing effort to create more opportunities for female superstars. In an update on a lawsuit against WWE, Ringside News wrote that WWE and Vince McMahon are back in the legal spotlight with a new lawsuit filed by Leland Owens, who claims that WWE used his creative contributions without proper compensation. The lawsuit, filed on November 4th, accuses McMahon of benefiting from Owens' ideas under a verbal agreement, with Owens alleging that neither payment nor formal recognition was provided for his work. The latest lawsuit comes after a previous complaint was dismissed due to incomplete financial documentation. This time, Owens' claims are more detailed, alleging that WWE executives and agents, including Stephanie McMahon and Daniel Bryan, as named in the suit, were aware of and involved in the alleged intellectual property misappropriation. One of the more sensational claims is that Owens was offered hush money to stay silent, which he states was facilitated by Mercedes Moné, formerly Sasha Banks, in a representative role for WWE. The stakes are high, with Owens seeking $500 million in damages. Such a significant demand underscores the seriousness of his allegations and points to the potential impact this case could have on WWE's handling of creative partnerships and ideas from external contributors. So far, WWE has not publicly responded to the lawsuit. However, if Owens' allegations are substantiated in court, the repercussions could lead to more rigorous policies surrounding creative contributions within WWE and possibly embolden other creators who feel their ideas have been exploited. The outcome of this case could signal a turning point in how WWE and other major entertainment companies manage intellectual property and relationships with independent creators. Mentioning two members of WWE that are now absent from the company, Ringside News wrote that WWE is currently without two of its long-standing creative masterminds, Bruce Prichard and Michael Hayes, who are on temporary leave. The news was first reported by Dave Meltzer, indicating that while their return is expected, the timeline remains uncertain. According to the report, Hayes' leave is due to personal matters, while Prichard's absence stems from a family emergency. WWE sources have stressed that the situation are unrelated and have denied any rumors suggesting the old guard is being phased out. Both Prichard and Hayes are anticipated to resume their roles in due time. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.